10 ridiculous things people waste time at Disney World. You probably spend thousands of dollars when taking a vacation in Disney World, so the last thing you need to do is squander your day in the park. However, regardless of this, many people will linger most of their time at Disney just standing in line. Here is a guide to avoid wasting your day at Disney World. Disney World FastPasses. Every person receives 3 FastPasses beforehand when they reserve them through the My Disney Experience app or in the park. Taking advantage of a FastPass means that you can substantially forget waiting for rides. After you've exhausted your FastPasses, if any others are available, you can book more. Make certain that you reserve your FastPasses for early in the day so you can get some for the evening on top of your initial 3. Check wait times before you go ride. My Disney Experience shows you how long the wait time is for different rides throughout the park. Before you waste time walking over to a ride just to discover that the wait time is 4 hours, don't forget to check the app. You can also check wait times and go when it falls below an hour or 2 hours. Before your trip, check wait times in the park so you can get a good idea of the average waiting times for rides. New amusements and famous rides will normally be anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours, and other rides will span between 10 minutes to 1 hour. Ride popular attractions during off-peak times. If you're at the parks at rope drop, it can allow you to walk into rides such as Test Track and even Slinky Dog Dash. The off-peak times for the parks are supposed to be during meal times, late at night near closing, and early in the morning at park open. You shouldn't miss to take advantage of these times to ride the famous rides that have really long wait times. This is where reserving for a late dinner or going for early magic hours will be useful. Take advantage of single rider lines. While riding with your friends might seem like the way to go, it's not the sole way to ride. Flight of Passage, Test Track, and among other rides offer a single rider line. This line is normally much shorter than the main line, and you can still wait in line with your friends. For the 2 minutes you're on the ride, you won't be present with them, but this can assist you to evade many long lines you don't have a FastPass for. Gift shop. I understand you need your Disney mugs. Yeah, for some people, gift shops might be part of the whole theme park experience. But for others who have to accompany along with group members who are fascinated with the shops like moths to a flame, you might end up feeling like you've squandered your day. Let's give you some tips on this one. There are some major Street USA gift shops, which will remain open for an hour after the park closes down. And if you're a deluxe resort guest utilizing extended evening hours, the shops are going to remain open even longer for you to get some late-night shopping done. All 4 parks keep their flagship gift shops open so all visitors can get any last-minute shopping down before calling it a night. So if you want to concentrate on rides and shows during the day, just plan on checking these shops out after the park shut down. Plus, this way you can stay in the parks even longer and avoid the mass dispersion of guests. Park hopping. Going to more parks in one day sure does appear like you're using your time wisely. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. I am not anti-park hopping. Don't worry, there are certainly ways to do it efficiently, but park hopping can be quite the venture, all thanks to travel times to and from park to park. So if you're hell-bent on park hopping successfully, keep these things in mind. Your best parks to bounce between are Epcot and Hollywood Studios, thanks to the Disney Skyliner. Just remember that you don't just wait in line one time and get on a Skyliner that'll take you right over to the next park. You will have to go to another Skyliner gondola when you reach Caribbean Beach. Since you can't start park bouncing until around 2 p.m., I'd suggest getting in line for the Skyliner 15 to 20 minutes before park hopping starts. That way, you can get ahead of the park hopping crowds that'll pick up around 2 p.m. and have less lines to wait in. Lost car. This may not seem like a big deal, but guess what? That's how you squander time. You do these things that are little, but they add up. Losing your car in a parking lot full of cars is not something you want at all, particularly when it refuses to play car alarm with you. Even worse is when you lose your car in a Disney World parking lot when you're already boiling from the hot weather and worn out and cranky. Here is a tip to avoid this. It's a good idea to install the free Find My Car app before your vacation, as this may end up being a very useful tool. Once you've parked, you're just going to press the park button featured on the app, letting you know this is where your car is. The app will remember that location and pull up this GPS marker later when you're ready to track down your car again. Fireworks. If you're stressed about finding the ideal spot for the ideal view of Disney World fireworks so you can feel all the emotions and cry all the tears during the grand finale, you really don't need to waste precious park time standing idly around the main street just to be certain you got the best view. Because think of how much more you could have gotten done with all that additional time. So, according to me, a good time to begin staking out a spot for the fireworks is probably 30 minutes tops. But, get yourself a snack beforehand so you got something to do to pass that time. It doesn't really matter how early you stake out a spot, especially if you're going to find one on Main Street USA. You're still going to have guests standing in your personal bubble. The only way to really guarantee an immaculate show viewing is by booking one of the Magic Kingdom dessert parties, which you can get to know more about on the Disney World website. But if you don't care about that, just dash off over the castle, as there are lots of other places behind the park you can find that will be way less crowded, like behind the castle, for example, or nearby the tangled restrooms in Fantasyland. Minivans. I can smell fear in you. I'm aware you're already contemplating how you're going to escape the masses after Disney Enchantment wraps up for the night. The buses will be loaded, the ferries will be loaded. So what's the solution? Let me get you familiarized with the Minivan service. Minivans are part of the Lyft-operated rideshare service and give direct private transportation around Disney World. The only drawback is that minivans tend to be a pricier option for getting around the parks than free transportation, but minivans can drop you off and pick you up at a designated area. So if you want to save your feet and avoid having to wait in everlasting long lines just to get on a bus, the extra investment might be worth it. Dark clouds. You'll have to look out for those sketchy dark clouds looming out in the distance. Okay, so what you can do to predict Orlando's weather patterns is install an AccuWeather app and keep a close eye on the radar when those clouds start looking a bit too threatening. If there's a storm about to breeze, or if it's forecasted to show up in the next 30 minutes, don't even think about getting in line for an outdoor ride. Those are going to go offline whenever a storm hits the area. So even if an outdoor ride is still operating for the time being, don't think you can jump in line for it and ride before the storm starts brewing, because most probably what's going to happen is that ride's going to close while you're still in the queue. But that doesn't mean you can't enjoy in that time. All of Disney World's indoor dark rides will still be up and running during those dreary, rainy times.